Colin.
Drew.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. I'm doing well. As you see, there are 0 Brians in this office right now, but fear not. You have Colin and Drew here for you. And Andy is back there too, shaking her head because apparently she didn't like my, Drew alliteration. But she's back there as well, making sure that I feel great about my hosting abilities. Anyway, we're going to talk about, what is this, a little bit of a follow-up, right?
Yeah, so our previous, right now, we actually did our most underrated inks. And these were, actually underrated, not just I like them and a couple people talk about them.
Right.
So they were buried in our website. So this one, we wanted to expand upon it further and talk about underrated pens. There's a variety of reasons why they're underrated. I have 2. You brought 3, sort of. Also, fountain pens is a little bit weird, but
yeah.
So why don't you kick us off, Drew?
Well, like you said, if we're fountain pens technically, I did bring Retro 51 just because, as fountain pen users, most of us here were like, all right, do we need to carry some rollerball pens? Why? And a lot of folks feel that way. You wonder, as a fountain pen user, do I need to buy a rollerball? I mean, they've got some really crazy designs. You've got one with cursive letters all over them. You've got the skeleton pen that glows in the dark. You might be wondering, do I need this? And if so, why? Please convince me. Why? What am I missing here? And as someone who felt that way, why I don't see the appeal. What am I missing? Please tell me. I think I figured it out, and I just kind of wanted to share that. So I was filling out some paperwork last week for the kids' preschool, and I tried to write with a Sailor Sabitogi nib. Now I'm talking, this is one of the finest nibs you can find.
Sure.
And it's still feathered like crazy on this crappy paper. So in that instance, I picked up a Retro 51 and it wrote fine. Now for paperwork, for receipt paper, if you need to write somewhere, someplace where a fountain pen, even a 0.1 millimeter, extra fine Japanese nib can't cut the mustard, pick up one of these. You can still inject a little bit of your personality into your writing experience, and there's one of these things for everybody.
Yeah, I was actually pretty skeptical about Retro 51 when we started carrying it. Just looking at their website, it seemed very personalized, and I wasn't certain how that would translate for us. But once we got them in, they have good heft to them. I think they write very well. If I were to go the rollerball route, this would be exactly what I would get.
It's so smooth, too.
Yeah, absolutely. No real dragging of the, not nib, I don't know what those are. Tip?
I didn't even show this one.
Yes, that's the dog rescue one.
Yeah, that one is one of the few ones that we have that actually a portion of the proceeds donate to a charity.
We have a cat one too for our cat fans,
yes,
right?
and a bee one.
Well, yeah, the bee one, I think we might see that later this week.
Oh, is that not in?
No, it's not in. The bee
okay.
and the bee and the P51 were a little delayed until early July, which we are in.
Yes, it has flown to early July. All right, I will start with a new personal favorite of mine. I use it every day. The Platinum PTL 5000A.
The name that just rolls off the tongue.
I know, such a inspiring name.
Absolutely.
So, what's great about this pen is it is a gold nib for $64.
I'll go ahead and open it.
Yes.
$64.
$64.
That is how much it is right now. Prices
Yes.
always change in these videos, but
Correct. And this is brought back because I believe 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, when Platinum had it before, they didn't expect so many people to want such a cheap gold nib pen.
yeah, I wonder why.
So yeah, this is $64 currently. And I think the next cheapest gold nib that we offer is, I think, the E95S
I think you're right.
at $135. So we're talking, $70 difference.
That's a huge difference.
You can buy 2 PTLs. There's a black and a red. So
I think that value-wise, if you were to pick, some of the top value pens, as far as bang for your buck pens, you got to look at this one or the Metro as far as what you're getting for your money.
Yeah.
This one probably takes the cake though.
And if you like thin fountain pens, this is a great one. It's very streamlined, and then the nib itself is actually flexible. Well, I shouldn't say flexible. Don't say that word. Don't say that word. It is softer.
Yeah,
it has some springiness. So
This is one of my favorites.
so that's just normal, and then well, there's a little railroad, but you can see it. So,
Now, does that nib have the same nib as this guy? Or
I
are they
believe
just
so.
very, very similar?
it looks a little thin.
Okay, yeah, they're very similar. So one of the pens I brought is something very, very similar to the PTL 5000A, and this is the Platinum Modern Maki-e. Now, we discontinued this pen a little while ago, but we currently sell the Kanazawa Leaf Maki-e pens, which are a little nicer. But this one was a little bit more affordable, so this is why I bought it at the time. But the nib is still the same, so I wanted to just kind of talk about the nib. I included this on my list, same reason Colin included this one. Just because it's a really nice writing, affordable gold nib. So this one, as you saw, is a little bit different looking, but it gives you the same writing experience. It's a little bouncy. It's a great gold nib for the price. It's still, I think the Kanazawa Leaf is like, what, in the 150 range, something like that?
Yeah, 150,
It's not crazy, you know, but the writing experience is really what I, really enjoy. And if you wanted, a maki-e pen, but didn't want to break the bank, this is a great way to do it as well. The way I think they get around it is that it's maki-e done at its most basic. So you still get a pen with handmade designs that is absolutely one of a kind, but at a more affordable price.
Yeah, there's some really nice designs on what we have now. I know that there's one that I like personally that has Mount Fuji.
Yeah,
and has
that
this
one's beautiful
gold red to the white top. Yeah, so if you're looking for, like you said, a more affordable maki-e option with that sort of artwork, that's a great way to go.
Right. Every single pen you'd get, it was, hand, painted in some aspect. So it's, you get that in your mind, like, this is unique. This is mine. No one else has this exact pen, and that's always cool.
Hey, Drew, isn't that pen from your doodle on Instagram TV?
Instagram TV, what's that? Do people use that?
Plug.
Yes.
Yes, I
Go
did.
check that out.
I did do some doodling of some weird mustached businessman.
Angry business.
Yeah, some
man.
angry business. Some
very angry.
some like J. Jonah Jameson looking guy. I don't know what. I had no plans when I started, but yeah, it was. I doodled with this guy the other day, which is another reason I like doodling with this pen, because you do get a little bit of line variation.
Yeah.
Not like as much that we would call it flex, but if I wanted to have just a little bit of darkness under somebody's eyes, rather than having to shade and fill in, I can just go a little bit.
Swoopy.
Yeah, a little swoopy. Yeah. Options.
All right, the next one I have, I will say, is the most underrated starter fountain pen, and that is the Coveco Perkeo. I'm going with the full-on German.
So German.
So this is $16. So right in that metro sort of range, if you were to go. And what we realized, or were told, is these now come with Yovo nibs, which are crazy. How affordable a Yovo nib on a starter pen would be.
I had no idea. We just figured that out recently, and we were blown away. Like, what? When did they make the switch? Why didn't we know?
Because when I first started here, Coveco had some, not issues, but there was some. Not everyone loved the nibs when they were with Bach.
I had trouble with them. I had some folks on my team that loved them, so it was really kind of a little up in the air. I don't know if it was a user error or what, but I always had a more difficult time with them.
Yeah.
But I never have a difficult time with Yovo.
Yes, and so when we brought on the Perkeo, I started writing with it. I'm like, this writes beautifully. Like, I had no issues, and I was like, this is a great pen. And lo and behold, it has a Yovo nib for $16. So that's just a great deal. The colors...
No, this is awesome.
This
is awesome.
It's called Bad Touch.
This is bad taste.
Or Bad Taste.
I had a marker when I was a kid that was a black marker, but then when you went over it with a white marker, it turned hot pink, and I would draw a black and hot pink race car like it was my job. So this brings me back. I might need to pick up one of these.
More like a coral salmon color.
Yeah. It's
all right. Well, I can
quite hot
still
pink.
reminisce, Andy.
Yeah, it's a lot of retro coloring.
Destroy my childhood.
There's like a goldish and black. There's a white and blue. There's a gray and pink.
That one I think might be
I think that's cotton candy.
That one's a bit like.
So, if you like those colors, I definitely recommend this pen. I would probably recommend it regardless.
Yeah, no, the writing experience is worth it alone.
Yes.
It really is.
All right, Drew, close this out.
Yeah, well, going back to your kind of appeal on a thin pen, you can't get much thinner than this stick here. This is the Lamy CP1. And if you have a pen loop and you were like,
Put
well,
it down.
will my pen fit in my pen loop? With the CP1, the answer is always yes. No matter what type of pen loop you have, this guy will go in it because it is pretty much this. It's like putting a converter in a pen loop. The thickness is not much wider than the converter itself. So it is a brass pen. So it gives it a good amount of heft for being so thin.
Yeah.
But if you look, the clearance to the barrel and converter is like next to nothing.
Yeah.
So that's how it's able to, like, look at that. It's almost touching the converter. This thing is so thin. So if you want a good pen for traveling, for if you've got small hands, or if you want to make sure that it can fit in a pen loop that maybe was designed for a pencil or a little ballpoint instead of a fountain pen, this will do it for you.
Yeah, I think it's for someone who's just getting into fountain pens coming from pencils or mechanical pencils that like that thin, streamlined look. That's the pen I would recommend.
Absolutely, and it's swappable with all the Lamy nibs.
Yes.
It's got a beautiful, steel
clip.
spring-loaded clip. You can't beat it. This was one of my first fountain pens, and I love it to death.
Cool. Well, there's 5 options
There
that
you
are
go.
underrated.
Go check them out. Tell us what you think. And if you have any that you really like and that you don't think we know about them or you don't think they get appreciated quite as much as they should, let us know. Maybe we'll do another one of these. Who knows?
All right, then.
In the meantime, we'll be back on Wednesday with
A special twosome. So stay tuned. Right on.